In this video, I'll be showing you how to get more clients for your business using Instagram. And unlike most of the videos on YouTube that tell you how to use Instagram to get clients, that ultimately say generic things like post better content or engage your audience. In this video, I'll be giving you a complete strategy, an entire roadmap so that you can start using Instagram to get more leads, more clients, more calls, and more sales for your business. Hi, my name is Connor Marriott from Instinct Education. We help business owners grow. And if you're wondering if this strategy works, we have used this strategy ourselves and we've taught it to many of our clients, some of which have made as much as $100,000 each month using this exact strategy just on Instagram. So it definitely works. It works right now. And in this video, I'll be breaking down every single step you need to set it up for your business. So as a high level, there are three things we need to do to successfully get clients using Instagram. Number one, we need to get people to your profile. From there, we need to get those people to engage with you or start a conversation with you. And then from there, we want to get them onto a call where you can make a sale. If you're selling high ticket, so anything over $2,000, you will need to talk to someone on the phone to get them to make a sale, or at least that's the most effective way to do it. You can't just send someone a payment link and say, hey, pay here. It's very unlikely that will work. So the goal of Instagram is to get people onto a phone call where you can then sell them your high ticket offer or service. So the first step in setting this up is going to be your profile setup. And this is the most important step. If you've tried Instagram in the past and it hasn't worked, it's very likely that it's because you didn't have your profile set up correctly. So what we want to do is set up your profile in a way that when your ideal prospects see you or get to your profile, they think, I need this. I want to talk to this person. They can help me. Because there's no point going out and trying to get attention, trying to get eyeballs to your page if that's not happening. Because ultimately what happens is you can spend all your time posting content, getting attention, but ultimately these people look at your page and they think, I'm not interested in what this person has to offer. So that is what we want to do first. Make sure your profile is set up in a way that speaks directly to your target market. And the best way to do this is, and this is probably the opposite of what most people tell you, is to narrow down your target market. You see, most people think that if they have a very broad target market, they will attract more people. But in fact, the opposite is true. And the way to think about this is imagine a graph with the size of the market on the x-axis and the number of competitors on the y-axis. As the size of your market increases, the number of competitors that you will be facing also increases in direct proportion. And so if you have a very big market, you're also going to have a lot of competition. When you have a lot of competition, all of your messaging gets washed out. And so when people see you, they basically compare you to everyone else that you're competing against. And so it's very, very difficult to stand out. An example of this would be if you helped people with weight loss, right? Weight loss is probably the most broad target market you could have. And so if someone looks at your profile and it says something like, I help you with weight loss, that prospect is going to think, okay, well, this is just like every other weight loss thing out there, and they're going to compare you to everyone else. And so it's very unlikely that person is going to be motivated to reach out and talk to you. So what we want to do instead is narrow your target market by making it more defined. And when we do that, we reduce the competition. And when that happens, all of your messaging, all of your content, everything you're doing is going to stand out much more. So going back to the example of weight loss, rather than saying, I help people with weight loss, you could say something like, I help people get six-pack abs before their wedding. Right? So ultimately what we're doing is still the same. We're still helping people lose weight. But because we've narrowed down our target market, when someone is about to get married and wants six-pack abs for their wedding, if they see you, they're going to say, this is exactly what I need. And your message is really going to stand out, and that's going to attract more people, and it's going to start more conversations. Another example would be if you helped businesses with Facebook ads. Rather than saying, I help people with Facebook ads, which again, very big market, a lot of competition, your message is going to be washed out. Instead, you could say something like, I help you get 30 listings per month for your luxury real estate business. If that was your message on your profile, anyone who has a luxury real estate business that wants extra listings, again, they're going to see you, they're going to be drawn to you, and they're going to say, this is exactly who I want to be talking to. So the first step is getting very, very clear on who your target market is, narrowing it down as much as possible, and then putting that very clearly on your profile. So in your bio, you could say something like, I help people get six-pack abs before their wedding, or I help you get 30 luxury listings for your real estate business. That is going to be the most important step because again, if you're not doing that and you're going out, you're trying to get attention, maybe you're following people, maybe you're connecting with people, they're just going to look at you and you're going to be ignored. So step number one, get very, very clear on who your target market is and make it as specific as possible. The second part of this is going to be the content that you post on your profile, right? So you've got a very clear target market. What type of content should you be posting? And what most people will tell you is post as much content as possible, right? The more content you post, the more attention you get. However, getting attention isn't the goal, because attention on its own is not a good thing. I'm sure if you've ever been in a movie cinema and there's been someone in that cinema that's been talking loudly, that person had your attention, but it wasn't a positive thing. And so just getting attention for the sake of attention is not what we want to be doing. What we want to be doing is putting out content that when our target market see it, they think, I need to talk to this person. I want what this person has to offer. I believe they can help me. And so the way we do that is using strategic content. And the framework that I use is what I call Inception content. If you've ever seen the movie Inception, basically the whole movie is about how can we plant an idea in someone's head so that they think it is their own. If you've ever studied persuasion or psychology, what you'll notice is that if you can get someone to come to their own conclusion about something or have them have their own idea, that is far more powerful than if you tell them something, right? So if I said to you, you should be my client, that is not going to be very powerful because that's my idea that I'm projecting onto you. On the other hand, if I was to give you some information, some clues, and you came to your own conclusion that, hey, I want to work with that guy, that's your idea, and that's going to be far more powerful than anything else. And so when we put out content, we want to have this in mind. We want to create the thoughts in the prospect's mind that they want to work with you. We want them to come to the conclusion, not you saying, hey, you should work with me. So how do we do that? Well, there's two things we need. We need hope and we need a deficit. So hope is helping the prospect realize that there's a better way. A deficit is helping the prospect realize that they don't know how to achieve that outcome on their own. So an example of this would be going back to weight loss. If you help people increase their metabolism, a bad example of content would be saying you need to increase your metabolism, because that is, again, you projecting your idea onto them. Instead, if you put out content that says something like, if you increase your metabolism, weight loss becomes easier because you can eat the foods you love and still lose weight. That type of content, as an example, what that does is, number one, it gives the prospects hope that there's an easier way. They'll think, oh, okay, if I can increase my metabolism, it will be easier for me to lose weight. But the second thing it does is it creates a deficit, because the prospect would think, well, I want to increase my metabolism, but I'm not sure how. When that happens, they would think that the person that posted this content would likely know how to do it, and therefore they'll come to the conclusion that they want to work with you. So when you're creating content, you want to run it through this framework. Number one, what is the hope I'm creating here? And number two, what is the deficit? So we don't just want to say, hey, you should do this, because that's your idea projecting onto them. We want to give the prospect the clues, plant the idea in their head that there is a better way, whilst at the same time creating a deficit so that they feel the need to reach out and talk to you. So once you've got those two things, number one, a very clear target market, and number two, some content that is achieving the outcome of Inception content, planting the idea in the prospect's mind, now you're ready to start attracting people, start conversations, and start generating clients. So how exactly do we do that? So now that your profile is set up and optimized, what we now want to do is start getting people looking at your profile. And there are a few ways we can do this. You could pay for shout outs, you could follow and unfollow, you could engage with different people's things, you could run ads. There's a lot of things you could do, but the most effective way is finding your ideal prospects. So you can search using hashtags or find influencers in your niche that your followers or your prospects would be following, going through their following lists or going through the people that are engaging with their posts, and then going to their profile, liking some photos, engaging with some photos, giving some comments, and then following them. What we want to do is get someone to follow you back, because if we can do that, then we can start a conversation and they're going to see the content you post in the future. So really what we want to do is get people following you. From there, we can then move them into a conversation. So there's a very specific way you can do this. I'm going to break down the exact conversation script that you can use. So what's important to understand is that whenever you're trying to get someone to do something for the first time, in this case, start a conversation with you, the first action is always going to be the most difficult. So we want to make the first action very, very simple for the prospect. Once someone's taken one action, they're more likely to take a second and third action. It's consistency bias. They're likely to continue the things they've started, but that first action is most difficult. So what we want to do is when we start a conversation or we attempt to start a conversation with a prospect, we want to make it very simple. And the best way to do that is with an either or question. So rather than asking someone, hey, what's your goal? Or what are you looking to achieve? This is a type of question that requires the prospect to put mental effort into it. And if they're just starting this conversation, it's likely that they'll put it in the category of this is too hard or I'll do this later, and they won't reply. So instead, if you use an either or question, you present the prospect with two options and then they just need to pick. That's a lot simpler for someone to do, and it's going to lead to much higher response rates in your initial message. So an example would be something like, if you're helping people with weight loss, saying, hey, John, are you working out at the gym or do you just train at home right now? Right? So it's an either or question. Or if you're helping someone with getting clients, you could say, are you running ads or are you just doing organic attraction right now? right? So it's an either or question, and the prospect can pick the specific category or the specific bucket that they fall into. Once someone has replied, again, they're more likely to continue the conversation. So then we can ask those more qualifying questions. So you could then ask someone about their goal. So again, going back to weight loss. Okay, tell me, what is your weight loss goal over the next few weeks? Or what is your weight loss goal over the next few months? So we want to get the goal. From the goal, we can then ask, what is their biggest roadblock, right? So let's say John says that he wants to lose 10 kilos. You could say, okay, John, what is the biggest challenge you're facing when it comes to losing 10 kilos? Now they're going to give you the roadblock. From there, once you've identified the roadblock, you can then ask this question, which will lead someone into a call. And that is, are you open to getting some help with that? Or are you happy doing things on your own for now? Right? So if you're talking to John and he's just said his goal is to lose 10 kilos and he's told you that his challenge is his diet, if you then say, are you open to getting some help with that? Or happy just doing things on your own for now? It's very likely that he's going to say, yes, I am open to getting some help with that, because he's just told you that this is his challenge. He doesn't know how to solve it because that's his challenge. If he knew how to solve it, it wouldn't be his challenge. So when you say, are you open to getting some help with that? It's a very soft question, and it's very likely the prospect will say yes. From there, once they say, yes, I am open to getting some help, you can then say, cool, well, if I was to set aside some time to help you map out a strategy to help you lose those 10 kilos, is that something you'd be happy to do? And they would say yes. And then from there, you can send them a time to book a call. So you can say, awesome, looking at my calendar, I've got 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. tomorrow available. Which is best for you? And again, an either or question makes it simple for the prospect to pick the time that suits best. So that is basically the structure of the conversation. Number one, start off with an either or question to increase your reply rates. From there, ask them about their goal. Then ask them what roadblocks they're facing or what challenges they're facing when trying to achieve the goal. And once you've got the roadblock, then say, are you open to getting some help with that? Or are you happy just doing things on your own for now? They'll very likely say yes, they want some help. And then you can say, well, let's set up a time to have a chat. How's 10 a.m. tomorrow, or does 3 p.m. work best? Now you've got someone on the call, and then from there, you can sell them into your program or your service or whatever it is you're offering. If you need help with sales, I've created a video, which I'll link in the description, to walk you through the sales script that you can use on that call to get someone to make a payment and sign up with you over the phone in one single call. So that is the Instagram strategy. Number one, get very clear on the target market and post content that speaks to them. From there, we want to engage with people who we believe are our ideal prospects and get them to follow you back. If you're struggling with that part, as in people aren't following you back, it's probably going back to step one, meaning your profile isn't set up in a way that's speaking to these people. So again, if you're just saying, I help people with weight loss, and you're engaging with people, they might think, well, I don't need help with that because this person is just like everyone else. So if you're not getting followed backs from your engagement with other people, you might want to look at your profile, you might want to look at who your target market is, and you might want to narrow that down. Once someone follows you back, you then can start the conversation. You can say, hey, John, thanks for the follow. And then ask the either or question. Are you working out at home, or do you have a gym membership? Right? If you're helping someone with relationships, be like, hey, John, are you in a relationship or are you single? Right? Either or question. Then ask them about their goal. What is your goal? What are you looking to achieve over the next month or 12 months or 6 weeks? And then from there, what is your roadblock? And then are you open to getting some help with that? That is the strategy. And if you use this every day, it's very likely you'll be able to book 2, 3, 4, 5 calls a day just with this strategy. And then from there, if you're selling a product or service that's several $1,000s, you could be making tens of thousands of dollars every week by following this system. It's very simple, it's very straightforward, but the most important thing is having that clear target market, being very specific about who you help, because when you do that, when people see you, when you engage with them, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna say, I need this. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you've enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. I check all the comments and I'll reply personally. But this is how you can get clients using Instagram without running ads for free. And like I said, some of our clients have been using this and they've been making as much as $100,000 each month just with Instagram. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you'd like to learn more, leave a comment below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.